So this continues our series on the AlekhineSaemisch attack, which is something that we play against Alekhine's defense, since Alekhine pretty much takes us out of our offbeat games. We play an offbeat line against the Alekhine, which doubles our own pawns, usually on the C file. It allows black to set up a French formation almost always. That's what he's left with. And we're also going to try to line up our bishop on h7. This is an interesting game, and I'm going to just show it to you briefly because it involves most of these principles we talked about, castling along and involving our king's rook as soon as possible. So, without further ado, we're going to turn on our engine, and we're going to see how this game develops. This became a very popular move at some point. I just play bishop to c4, see what the computer recommends. It says that black should play knight takes c3. The computer has decided that's the best line. Now d5, which this person played knight to c6, which I don't see very often. And again, the computer wants me to castle kingside here and there, but my idea is to castle queenside. I want a queen to d2, which probably is a little more accurate. My idea is to put the queen's rook on the queen file and deter d5 that way. Well, of course, he gets in d5. The computer didn't want me to castle long, says black actually got a little bit of an edge. Now it's leaning back toward white. But black just needs to chase the bishop out with a knight and expand on the queen side with c5. Which he fails to do. He came up with a flawed plan. He went c6 instead. And now we're trying to involve these are not recommended computer moves, but the computer says we're at least equal. So he finally makes the recommended computer move, and now he's supposed to follow it up with c5, which he does not do. He decides to go c6, and we get a big advantage. Now we play queen to e3, which is the recommended line. It says he should try to exchange, but that just allows me to sack on h6 and take back with the bishop and win a pawn. So instead he moves f5. Now in these situations with f5, a lot of very strong players have just left that sort of thing there and moved, try to work in a knight behind the g file, or not even, and then move g4. To try to open the white squared bishop up again. But if he ever does find the right plan and moves c5, I'm going to have to possibly get that bishop off the diagonal anyway, because there's very limited scope for it. So the right move is en passant, and this is a move I play usually. He takes back. And now the computer says with g4 I get pretty much a decisive advantage, and to me that's a little bit slow. I just take. And of course the question becomes, well, g4 would have given me a decisive advantage, so it wasn't taking a blunder. Yeah, that's a blunder if he moves e5 here. If he moves e5, my attack runs somewhat out of gas. Now it's now recommending g takes h6, no doubt, also with e5 to follow up. So he takes, I take, and now it becomes kind of difficult about how to defend this exactly. As you can see, the computer's decided against its own better judgment that the thing to do is to move a queen. However, I'm going to bridge the rook. I'm going to lift my rook to h3, and it's possible I can even do this even if he pushes e5, because that'll open the g file if he takes the rook. And now rook to h3, and we have a decisive attack. And at this point, this is really not worth playing out because my opponent blundered 3 or 4 moves later, and it's not real pretty. But as you can see, with the king that wide open, and we're 2.5 up in about 1 move here, that the game's pretty much over. So I'll leave the game here, and I just wanted to show what this kind of attack looks like. Once again, we employed all the basic. We accepted the doubled pawns. We attacked on h7 with the bishop, and we castled long and involved our king's rook as soon as possible. And that's the end of the video today.